So it's been confirmed, right? A Nigerian military aircraft just got detained in Burkina Faso. 11 personnel, a C-130 transport plane landed in Bobo-Dioulasso. Burkina's military have said that it breached AES space without clearance. That part's a fact, but what's still unclear is why. Was it an emergency landing or a flex? Did Nigeria notify anyone, or did the AES bloc just see it as a disrespect? Because this is more than just a wrong turn, right? It's three former ECOWAS states, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, now holding Nigerian soldiers. And it comes just days after Nigerian flew fighter jets into Benin to stop an alleged coup. So this could be technical or it could be tactical. AES might be testing Nigeria's leadership. Nigeria might be testing how far it can go. Because the truth is, this is no longer a united region, is it? It's blocks. ECOWAS versus AES. Civilian democracies versus military regimes. And buried in that is a deeper conversation. Why Nigeria? Why not Sierra Leone, the current ECOWAS chair? Well, the answer is kind of simple. Nigeria is the engine, politically, economically, militarily. Is that a real word? Even when it's not chair, it moves the needle. Sierra Leone doesn't just have, well, it doesn't have the military reach. Nigeria does. It borders Benin and it has the most to lose from instability. But that power comes with tension. ECOWAS has rotating leadership, but uneven capacity. And that imbalance is now showing, right? Because the AES bloc is moving like a wall and their airspace is a red line. Back in 2023, they warned any unauthorized military flight would be treated as hostile. So if Nigeria landed without clearance, even if they're unarmed, this might not be an accident. It could be a test. And if AES refuses to release those soldiers, it's not just a breach. It becomes a sovereignty clash, right? A cold war of ideologies. ECOWAS plus France-aligned democracies. AES plus Russia-leaning juntas, fighting over optics, territory, and legitimacy. This isn't just about a plane. It's about influence. Because if AES refuses to release those soldiers, it's not just a breach. It becomes a sovereignty clash, right? A cold war of ideologies. ECOWAS plus France-aligned democracies. AES plus Russia-leaning juntas, fighting over optics, territory, and legitimacy. This isn't just about a plane. It's about influence because the AES has kicked France out. Bases closed, diplomats gone, and they're turning to Russia with Wagner-style units operating behind the scenes. Now, here's where it gets spicy, right? France just confirmed that Nigeria asked them for help just last week. So to AES, that's a signal, right? France might be gone physically, but still pulling the strings. And if Nigeria looks like it's working with Paris, that's a problem. So you're watching two power blocks form, one backed by fading colonial powers, the other backed by new, unpredictable ones. What does that mean for Nigeria, for AES, and the whole region's future? Listen, that's where the economic war begins and what I'll break down into part two. So make sure you lock in immediately for part two. So what's the best case scenario? If this doesn't spiral, first, the soldiers are returned. Burkina Faso says, we enforce protocol. Nigeria says we meant no harm. Statements go out. Tensions cool. Second, Nigeria leads with calm, not pride, not pressure, just clear diplomacy. Third, AES holds its ground but resists escalation. Because here's the truth, right? If Nigeria entered intentionally, AES has the right to respond. They're sovereign states with threats looming. They're within their right to defend that airspace. That's not provocation, it's protection. And maybe, just maybe, the Benin coup attempt was a distraction because this plane moment could be the real game. If Nigeria overreacts, we get sanctions, shutdowns, even standoffs. But if both sides de-escalate, this becomes something rare, a regional reset. And economically, it could be massive. Honestly, I'm looking at this as if I was advising the government, right? A Frexim Bank says West Africa is sitting on $3 billion in untapped intra-Africa trade. Nigeria's got the ports. AES has the landlocked markets. If peace holds, trade routes reopen, Sahel goods flow through Nigeria and Ghana, borders become bridges. Nigeria could reframe itself altogether, not just a big brother, but the region's economic anchor. That means real money, supply chain resilience, infrastructure deals, cross-border energy, logistics, security, and more importantly, independence. Africa to Africa trade, not just importing from China or flying goods from Paris. But here's what has to go right, yeah? Soldiers return, no sanctions, no new ECOWAS embargoes, no AES retaliation, trade routes stay open, and France needs to stay away. Not just silent, right? Gone. No intel drops, no behind the scenes tactics. If Nigeria and AES are going to fix this, they need to do it on African terms, not Paris's. So what would I advise if I was Nigeria? I would protect my people, but don't chest beat, right? Lead with clarity, not noise. If I was AES, I'd assert my sovereignty, but not provoke war. Use this to demand respect, not retaliation. Because if West Africa resolves this without escalation, that's real continental power. And ECOWAS, maybe it's time to rethink what unity really looks like. New frameworks, less Western dependency, more intra-African voice. Because in the end, this isn't just about a plane. It's about how power shifts and who controls the next era. I know this one was long and I had to split it into two, but make sure you repost both parts and tell me, if you were advising Nigeria or AES, what would you tell them? How would we make Africa stronger together?